And a good Friday afternoon to all of you watching out there in YouTube land. It is now time for the Scott Manning YouTube Weekend Kickoff Show. I want to thank all my loyal viewers for being with me here on this Friday. It is so good to have you with me. We're going to be here for about the next 20 minutes, for about the next half hour or so. I have a lot I want to talk about. We have some late-breaking news for the baseball world. You notice I'm not doing any fancy music today, no sound effects, because I got a lot I got to digest, and I'm not going to have a lot of time to play around today. We're just going to go right into the show. Let's have a great show, and let's just jump right into it. Let's go back to Wednesday night, Game 4 of the NBA Finals. The Milwaukee Bucks now have all the momentum in the world right now. After beating the Phoenix Suns 109-103, it was a huge night for Chris Middleton. 40 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 26 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. A huge night for him. Brook Lopez, 14 points, 1 rebound, 1 steal. I know it doesn't sound like much, but the 14 points was huge. Drew Holiday, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. Pat Connaughton, an almost double-double for him. 11 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist. A huge night, and they needed him. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks, despite only shooting 40.2% for the game, and only shooting 7 of 29 from beyond the arc for 24.1%, but they did very well at the free throw line. 24 of 29 for 82.8%. That was huge. On a huge night, when the Bucks needed to be big, they got it. They dominated the fast break 15-0. That's 15-0 to be exact. But points in the paint, the Bucks took that 48-40, and they had 11 steals in the game. And all of those 5 players that were in double figures, they shot a combined 38 of 90. I know it doesn't sound like much, but Chris Middleton was 15 of 33 by himself. That was huge. But for the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker, 42 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 block. I feel bad for him. He played a great game, but it was all for naught. Jay Crowder, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. I kind of feel bad for him too. Chris Paul, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. An off night shooting for him. He was only 5 of 13. Cameron Johnson, 10 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 block. You know, this is what gets me. The Phoenix Suns were 51.3% from the field for the game. They were 7 of 33 from beyond the arc. That's only 30.4%. And they only shot 16 of 19 at the free throw line. That's 84.2%. They shot better. But here's the problem, though. 17 turnovers in that game. That is the one thing the Milwaukee Bucks, that the Phoenix Suns did not need in Game 4. They had 17 turnovers. They did have 9 blocks. And the 4 players that I just mentioned that were in double figures, they were combined 29 of 57 for the game. And that was the bad part. I kind of felt bad for the Phoenix Suns on that. So now, what's next? Game 5 tomorrow night. The only good news for the Suns is the Suns are going home. They're going home for Game 5, and hopefully they can get right back in it. But Chris Paul, he had a bad shooting night in Game 4. That's all there was to it. Booker played the game of his life. I felt bad for him. I really did. But it is what it is. Game 5 tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. But I'm telling you now, this is going to be one of the most eventful NBA Finals I have seen in years. It was a great game, a great win for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they got the job done. And the bottom line is this. The Bucks have all the momentum. Could they be in the driver's seat to take it all away? We'll have to wait and see. But now, both teams are halfway there to the promised land. They each have 2 wins. 2 more, whoever wins 2 more will be NBA World Champions. Congratulations to congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning Game 4. Now we got Game 5, Saturday night in Phoenix. We'll wait and see what happens. All right. That's all the NBA news I am going to do today. We have major news coming out of the world of Major League Baseball. The Chicago Cubs fire sale has officially started. Jock Peterson is heading to the Atlanta Braves. And this news could not have come any better for the Braves. They'll get some help. Keep in mind, Braves outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his ACL, and he is out for the rest of the season. And that is not what the Braves needed right now. And I'll address the Acuna Jr. situation here in a minute. But Jock Peterson is heading to Atlanta. This is a big help. And this is what the Braves needed. But think about the 2021 stats for Jock Peterson for a minute. He has 11 home runs, 39 RBIs, a .230 batting average. Pretty good. A .300 OBP, a .418 slugging percentage, and an OPS of .718. That's what the Braves are getting. But the shock of Acuna Jr. not being there is going to hurt, because Acuna Jr. was a team leader. He was a guy who could get the job done. Ronald Acuna Jr. this season, 24 home runs, 52 RBIs, 17 stolen bases, a .283 batting average. Oh, that's going to hurt. A .394 on-base percentage. A .596 slugging percentage. I know I'm making Braves fans sick everywhere, but I have to do my job. But a .925 OPS. You know the sad part about this is, Acuna Jr., I feel bad. And I'll tell you what, this is what the Braves did not need. They were back. There were a couple of games back in the National League East, but they were below 500. Now, I know the National League East is weak right now. I'm not going to deny it. But I'll tell you this. Jock Peterson heading to Atlanta may be a spark plug to what the Braves need right now. The Chicago Cubs fire sale has started. But a lot of people, but I want to step away from the Cubs issues here for just a minute. I want to step away from it. The question has been, with Acuna Jr. out, who's the next best bet besides Jock Peterson? But I've looked at that. I took a look at that last night. And I've come up with 3 guys who can really step up to the plate in his absence. The first one that comes to mind, Freddie Freeman. He has a .274 batting average with an OBP of .381, 19 home runs, 50 RBIs. He actually leads the team in hits with 90, and he has 4 stolen bases. The next best bet after Freddie Freeman, Austin Riley. He has a .276 batting average with a .359 on-base percentage, of 14 home runs, 42 RBIs, 85 hits. He doesn't have a stolen base, though. That's the only concern I have about him. The next guy in line, Ozzie Albies. A .262 batting average, an on-base percentage of .323, 15 home runs, 61 RBIs, 88 hits, and he has 13 stolen bases. Out of all those 3, Freeman, Riley, and Albies, those are the 3 best bets right there for the Atlanta Braves in Acuna Jr.'s absence. Yes, I know the Cubs got Jock Peterson. The Braves got Jock Peterson from Chicago. However, I'm looking at it from a team standpoint. I address this as a team because the Braves, if they want to make some noise, all 3 of these players are going to have to step up in Ronald Acuna Jr.'s absence. It's a sad day in Chicago. I know Jock Peterson's leaving, but could this be a spark plug for the Braves? We don't know. But the bottom line is this. The National League East is tight right now. I know the Braves are 4 games back, but they're below 500. And you got the Phillies and the Mets in front of them. And speaking of the New York Mets, there could be a blockbuster deal in the works for Chris Bryant, part of that Chicago Cubs fire sale. He's part of that fire sale. The Cubs could lose Chris Bryant, and Chris Bryant could go to the New York Mets, to the division leaders. There are reports out of New York that the New York Mets are interested in a blockbuster deal to get Chris Bryant. Now, Chris Bryant is doing well. 16 home runs, 46 RBIs, a 271 batting average. Chris Bryant is playing like an all-star. Okay. Rookie of the Year, back in 2015, he took the Cubs back to the promised land in 2016 for the first time in 108 years when the Cubs won the World Series in 7 over Cleveland. Bryant, if he leaves Chicago as part of this fire sale, it's going to be a nightmare. But the New York Mets, if the Mets get him, if the Mets do get Chris Bryant, look out. The New York Mets are going to win the NL East. I've already made that prediction already. But if they get Bryant, it's going to mean a whole lot more. Because I'll tell you right now, the Mets are getting better. Francisco Lindor, he's getting much better. And I'll get to the Mets here. I'll address the Mets situation here in a few minutes. Just stay tuned. One chip of the Cubs fire sale has already dropped. We could have another huge one and a blockbuster deal go down. And there are three more Cubs stars that could be leaving Chicago at the trade deadline. Craig Kimbrell, there's been talk of him getting traded. Zach Davies, one of the best starting pitchers that the Cubs have, he's up for consideration. Javier Baez, he could be leaving. The Cubs are going to become sellers. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to make this up. I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. The Cubs are sellers. They're third place in the National League Central. They're struggling. And this is why we're having a huge fire sale. Not because it's going to be a rebuild, but it's an opportunity for other players from the Cubs franchise to step up to the plate and learn what they've done so far. And that is the truth of the matter. Well, now, I want to talk some more baseball news. Yesterday, I gave my predictions on who is going to win each division. But due to the nature of what has happened with the Chicago Cubs, it just gives me more reason to stick with the New York Mets to win the National League East. Let's look at the Mets for a minute. If Chris Bryant happens to go to New York and go to the New York Mets, this is who he'll have as teammates. Here's a few names to think about. Dominic Smith. He has a 252 batting average, 9 home runs, 37 RBIs. Francisco Lindor, the former Indian, a 227 batting average, 11 home runs, 36 RBIs, 70 hits, and 8 stolen bases. Pete Alonso, Mr. Home Run Derby, a 250 batting average, 17 home runs, and 49 RBIs. Right now, the Mets are hitting 231 as a team. That is huge. So, if Chris Bryant comes to New York, Smith, Lindor, and Alonso, you're going to have a great teammate. I think Bryant would be a perfect fit for these three right here. I really do. I'll tell you right now, if Bryant goes to the Mets are going to be hard to beat in the second half of this season. And that's all I've got to say about that. But I do want to turn to some more baseball news. The question has been, with all the COVID-19 crap going on right now, will the Yankees and the Red Sox play this weekend? We don't know. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. The Red Sox are just running away with it. The Yankees are struggling. Which leads me to another question. Is it time for a changing of the guard in New York? I think it is. With the latest news of possibly Chris Bryant maybe coming to the Mets, I think it's going to be time for a changing of the guard. The Mets may be the team that everybody talks about in New York, and the Yankees are going to be a team. Right now, the Yankees are a dumpster fire, and that's all there is to it. Let's go back to May 31st. Since May 31st, the New York Yankees are only 17-19. The Boston Red Sox, think about this. The Boston Red Sox are 23-16 since May 31st. That is huge. There's a huge discrepancy. Starting pitching for the Yankees has been a nightmare. Domingo Germain, 4-5 with a 4.44 ERA, 75 strikeouts. Jordan Montgomery, 3-4 with a 4.16 ERA. Jameson Taillon, 4-4 with a 4.90 ERA. And right now, the Yankees are hitting 236, the worst ever. I mean, the only starting pitcher that the Yankees really have is Garrett Cole. Outside of Cole, everybody else is a joke. And that's all there is to it. The Boston Red Sox are just clicking on all cylinders right now. And that's all there, and that's the bottom line, people. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. You know what makes me think? The Yankees and the Red Sox are the talk of the AL East. The Mets have all of a sudden, in my opinion, have become the talk of New York. And that's all there is to it, my friends. And that's all there is to it. Chris Bryant possibly going, with Chris Bryant in possible talks of a blockbuster deal and going to the Mets, and the Mets showing interest in him, if that happens, think about what, now the Mets are going to get a 271 batting average with 11 home runs and 46 RBIs. But they're also going to have 79 hits and an OBP of 353. So the changing of the guard in New York is pretty much already underway. And the Mets, right now, they're looking to be buyers at the deadline. Pete Alonso, the Home Run Derby champ. You got Francisco Lindor. He's getting much better. And Jacob deGrom for the Mets, he has a 1.08 ERA. And I'm going to say this right now. If the Mets and the Yankees were to face off in another, I would love to see another Subway Series between the Mets and the Yankees. And this is what I would love to see. I would love to see deGrom versus Cole. Because here's why. deGrom would just deGrom would just kick Cole right out of the ballpark. If you get my drift. So the changing of the guard in New York is very well underway. Now, that's the changing of the guard in New York. It's also time for a new changing of the guard in Chicago. Everybody, this is what bothers me. Everybody has been talking about the Chicago Cubs and how bad they are. But have you noticed anybody giving any love to the Chicago White Sox? Well, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to show the White Sox some love. Think about this. Think about what the White Sox have done. 54-35, 19 games above 500. They're leading the American League Central. They have 4 pitchers with 100 strikeouts or more. Tim Anderson, he's hitting .309 with 14 stolen bases. The White Sox are thinking about adding to the bullpen. The White Sox are looking to be buyers at the deadline. And let's think about this for a minute. I'm grabbing yesterday's notes because I wanted to talk about this a little bit more in depth today. The American League Central. This is huge. The Chicago White Sox. I made no change in my prediction yesterday. Tim Anderson. He's hitting .309, 6 home runs, 32 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, 96 hits. Jose Abreu. Give him some love. .253 batting average, 15 home runs, 66 RBIs. Jan Moncada. He's hitting .272 with an OBP of 401. 5 home runs, 39 RBIs. And right now the White Sox are hitting .257 as a team. And you notice I said the four White Sox pitchers with 100 strikeouts or more. Lance Lynn, a 9-3 record with a 1.99 ERA and 105 strikeouts to his credit. Carlos Rondon, a 7-3 record with a 2.31 ERA, 130 strikeouts. He leads the team in that department. Dylan Cease, a 7-4 record with a 4.11 ERA and 117 strikeouts. Lucas Giolito, a 7-6 record with a 4.15 ERA and 125 Ks. Why am I not seeing any love for the White Sox? Those 4 pitchers alone have a total of 477 strikeouts on the season. That's what bothers me. And, of course, the White Sox have a pretty good bullpen. Liam Hendricks, 23 saves, a 4-2 record with a 2.75 ERA, and 63 strikeouts to his credit. Cody Dalton Herrera, 14 holes, a 4-1 record with a 4.84 ERA, and 36 strikeouts. The team ERA for the White Sox is 3.50. That's what bothers me. Everybody's been so busy talking about the Cubs. Have you forgot about the team on the south side of Chicago? I haven't. I've been noticing. And it's time for you guys, out there to start taking notice of the White Sox. It's time for that. Now I understand the Cubs are going to be sellers at the deadline, and it's big news. But what about the fact that the White Sox are in first place in the American League Central, 19 games above 500, leading to the division, and barring some whack job, idiotic mess, the White Sox are going to win the division. The White Sox have a ball club. I'm tired of you guys talking about the Cubs. It's time for some love on the south side. And that's all I have to say. Everybody's been asking me, who do you think is going to win the National League West? The West right now, I'm sticking with the Los Angeles Dodgers for a couple of reasons. Number one, they got a pitching staff. Number two, they got one guy hitting 305, and Justin Turner. The Dodgers are going to win the National League West, by the way, just in my opinion. A lot of people asked me that the other day. And, of course, the Dodgers have a pitching staff. Julio Urias, 11-3 record, a 3.64 ERA, and 119 strikeouts. Walker Buehler, he's got 9 wins himself with a 2.36 ERA and 114 Ks. Clayton Kershaw, a 9-7 record with a 3.39 ERA and 127 strikeouts. But, of course, you got Justin Turner. He's hitting 305. 15 home runs, 50 RBIs, 93 hits. Max Muncy, he's hitting 270. Chris Taylor, 277. Right now, as a team, the Dodgers are hitting 244. It's going to come down to the Dodgers and the Giants at the end of the day. I'm going to stick with the Dodgers because they got a team. The Giants, the San Francisco Giants, they are injury plagued right now. But I'm going to tell you this, right? I'm going to be fair. The Dodgers and the Giants are going to battle it out. The Dodgers, at the end of the day, are going to win the division. There's no doubt in my mind. I said that at the start of the season. Look out for them. But keep an eye on the Padres. The Padres are 6 games back. But they're still pretty much in it. It's not over yet. And that's all I have to say about that. Now, the Giants, they get the St. Louis Cardinals. And I cautiously went with the St. Louis Cardinals because they've been having some struggles too. I'm not gonna say anything that's not true. But the National League Central has one team that has really surprised me. Actually, a couple of things that have really surprised me. The Milwaukee Brewers. Think about this for a minute. The Brewers are hitting 220 as a team, the lowest in the National League. They're in first place by 4 games over the Cincinnati Reds of all teams. The Reds are hitting 249 as a ball club. You got Nick Constellanos hitting 331. You got Jesse Winkler 301. And, of course, you got a pretty good pitching staff. And I'll tell you this. The Reds are going to make some noise. Because tonight, we have a start of a 3-game set between the Brewers and the Reds in Cincinnati at Riverfront. If the Reds take 2 out of 3, it will prove to me that the Reds are for real. If the Reds get a sweep, it's going to mean we could have a new changing of the guard in the National League Central. The Cardinals started an important series against the Giants tonight. That could be an important series. And the bottom line is this. If the Reds take 2 out of 3 from the Brewers, it would be a huge deal all the way to the end of the earth. That's all I have to say about that. All right. Let's talk some NASCAR. I'm sure you've had enough baseball news. Let's move on to something else. The NASCAR Cup Series last weekend was at Atlanta. The Bush brothers came home 1-2 with Kurt the winner, Kyle second. Martin Truex Jr. was third, Alex Bowman fourth, and Ryan Blaney, the spring winner in Atlanta, came home fifth. New Hampshire, Atlanta last Sunday was a great race. So what's happening this week? The Cup Series moves on to New Hampshire for a 300-mile race this coming weekend. What will happen in New Hampshire? Will the Bush brothers have their domination again? Or will it be a changing of the guard? Will Kevin Harvick finally get his first win of the season? We're midway through July, and old Harvick, who won 7 races last year, is winless. Denny Hamlin, he has yet to win a race this year. There's some guys, and a couple of them big, huge names that are absent from the winner's circle. What will happen in New Hampshire? We don't know. But there's a couple of guys that are hungry for wins. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts. As the baseball series starts the second half of the season, keep in mind, I know I've already talked baseball, but I want to go this route for just a second. The second half of the baseball season is getting underway, and you know what that means. Football is going to be starting up again. The NFL and the college football ranks and the NFL and the college football seasons are going to be starting very, very soon. Now, as all you guys know, I'm an Ohio State fan through and through. But the question has been, can the Buckeyes have a great season in 2021? We hope so. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Ohio State could be a team to beat in the Big Ten. They always are. We always say that Ohio State's going to dominate the Big Ten. I say that all the time because it's the truth. We have Michigan, the team up north, like a lot of my Ohio State friends like to call them. They can't beat us. There's no stopping us. As a matter of fact, Urban Meyer, the former coach at Ohio State, owes one special distinction. He's the only coach not to lose to the team up north. That's huge. Ryan Day, he knows how to get the job done against the Maize and Blue. But in the NFL world, can the Cleveland Browns come back and have the great season like they did last year when they made it to the playoffs, knocked out the Steelers in the wild card round? And I'll say this right now. In the division round, they got ripped off. And that's all there is to it. When we think fall, people, think fall. I know this heat and humidity is getting to everybody, but think fall. When the fall season hits, the college football world's going to be set on fire, and the NFL is going to be back better than ever. And that's the bottom line of this matter. And the truth of the matter is, football is starting again, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a great season. I really am. We'll wait and see what happens. But I'm going to say this. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the college football season, the NFL, and hey, to the high school kids, enjoy a great high school football season. It is going to be a blast in 2021. Mark my words. The college football world and the NFL is going to be a lot more enjoyable than it has been in years past. You can go to the bank on that. And that's the bottom line on this day. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this Friday. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is go to youtube.com, type my name, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you will see all the videos that I have done so far. I will be back here at 11:30 on Sunday night for the Scott Manning YouTube weekend sports weekend wrap-up show. And we'll have a great time then. If we have more trade news, I will be back here. If we get more major trade news today, I will be right back here on YouTube to let you know about it. But I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this Friday. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Goodbye, everybody, and I